Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to the second episode of Real Ass Talk. I'm not wearing any pants. Also, yes, I actually do have a lot of stubble growing right now, and it will go away, so don't scream at me for having stubble. It's just, I didn't feel like shaving it today, so this is what you get. Anyway, so in case you weren't here for the first episode of Real Ass Talk, basically this is a show where I'm just talking about my opinions on some stuff. Last time I did one about friendship and my opinion on friendship and just basically why I don't think you need friends. This time I chose a comment from the comment section that wanted me to talk about bullying today. And bullying is definitely a topic that a lot of people can relate to or that have problems with. I mean, I personally have had a lot of fucking issues with bullying in my life, basically since I was fucking in first grade, I want to say. I've just been bullied a lot, so I definitely know a lot about bullying, and I definitely have a lot to say about it. So that being said, basically I just wanted to give a little background about, you know, just my experiences with bullying and all that stuff before I really say anything about my personal advice or tips on the matter. So, really, basically, the biggest amount of bullying that happened with me is when I was in high school. I want to say from like grade 9 all the way to 12 I was bullied, and that doesn't really make sense because usually you're bullied by upperclassmen, but I was bullied by younger classmen too, which was awesome. So, you know, I was a senior, there'd be like fucking freshmen talking shit to me. I'm just like, great. You know, it probably didn't help that I wore eyeliner and basically women's pants. But, you know, it shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter what you look like or, you know, what you're into. You should not ever get bullied. There's nothing that you do personally that, you know, is calling out for, hey, bully me, guys. There's nothing, you know, you shouldn't feel bad about the way you look or how you act. You know, just a lot of people are fearful of something they don't understand. So whether it's, you know, a guy wearing eyeliner and skinny jeans or whether it's the dark, you know, you are scared of the unknown. So, in a sense, you understand why a bully bullies, but you still are bullied by the bully. So I just had like the range of typical bullying. I would get spit on constantly. I'd get pushed into lockers or fucking like punched. I'd literally have, you know, people throwing milkshakes at me, which, you know, as I've said in videos before, is a waste of a perfectly good milkshake. But apparently, you know, I was just that much of a fag that they wanted to throw a milkshake at me, I guess. So that being said, you know, bullying has definitely affected my life, but it makes you stronger because you oftentimes realize, like, you know, those bullies, they're just doing it because they themselves are emotionally insecure. Their parents might beat them or neglect them or something, and that's a lot of the times why bullies exist. So you never really think about that. You know, you're just caught up in like, oh, well, this guy's kicking my ass. Clearly I should hate him, but a lot of the times, you know, that is what happens. But sometimes, you know, just very rarely, sometimes they're just assholes. So, but I kind of also wanted to tell you guys a story of when I was in high school and there was another kid that I knew that was a victim of bullying, that, you know, I had, I guess, the pleasure of being able to help him out with that. It's a good story, but it's kind of a sad story as well. So I was friends with this guy in high school, and his name was Jordan, and Jordan was really annoying. I'm not going to sugarcoat it at all. He was one of those people that's just really annoying. And, you know, he wasn't annoying to me, because I was one of the people that was a close friend to him. But, you know, whether or not there were bullies just bullying him constantly, or just, you know, he was a nerdy guy, so girls didn't really like him. My friends didn't really like him. He was very, very unliked. He didn't have any friends other than me in high school. And that was one of the reasons that I wanted to be friends with him, is because he was bullied and picked on constantly, and I saw myself, I guess, in him, because I realized, you know, I was that person once. I needed someone to be there for me when I was being bullied, and, you know, I didn't have that. So I was friends with this kid, Jordan, and I just remember that at the very end of this school year, when, you know, we were graduating and everything was going on, his mom came up to me and said, hey, are you Destery? I'm like, yeah. She took me aside. She's like, hey, I really want to thank you for being a friend of Jordan. He was contemplating suicide for a really long time because of just all the bullying that went on, and he literally told me that you saved his life because you were the only friend that he had, and, you know, you were a positive influence on him, and you know, it just made me feel really great, but also terrible, you know, like that this bullying could have made someone want to kill themselves, and I just felt so terrible for him, but I also felt great that I was able to say that I helped someone, you know, just by being a friend to someone. So even if you yourself aren't being bullied, sometimes your friends who are being bullied, they just need someone there that is a constant positive influence to them. As for my stance on bullying, obviously it's totally fucked up. I would never bully someone. You know, a lot of times what will happen to kids that are bullied will later in life become bullies, whether they're in like a boss position where they're just bossing people around, or whether, you know, they're just assholes. You know, a lot of the times what will happen to the people that are bullied is they'll just turn that around because they early on feel insecure and they need a way to lash back out, which is, you know, how bullies come to exist. They are insecure about themselves, so they need to lash out, and that's the only attention that they can get is negative attention. But, you know, as long as it's attention, it doesn't matter to them. So my stance on bullying, though, is, or how I avoided bullying through high school. I didn't really avoid it, but a lot of the thing that I am proud of is that I didn't take what they said or did to me to heart. I just didn't give a fuck. Like, I honestly just took it upon myself just to not care a single bit what they said to me or what they did to me. You know, it hurt my feelings when they spit on me or fucking, like, you know, make fun of me or whatever. You know, it definitely hurts your feelings, but a lot of the times what a bully is looking for is just a reaction from you. It doesn't matter what kind of reaction, whether it's like, hey man, fuck you, or you just crying. It does not matter what kind of reaction. They're just looking for a reaction. So how to counteract looking for a reaction is just to not react at all. So when a guy spit on me, I would just keep walking. When a guy pushed me into a locker, I would just keep walking, and, you know, I'd laugh about it, or, you know, whatever. You know, I just didn't react. And, you know, at the end of the school year, sure, I was still bullied, but it wasn't as severe. You know, the bullies knew that they couldn't get anything out of me. They're like, well, fuck that guy. He's still a queer. He's a fag. But, you know, there's nothing we can do to fucking make him mad or get under his skin. There's just no way that he's going to react. So that's kind of how I counteracted the bullying personally. But I know that for a lot of other people, it's really difficult to just stop caring. But, you know, it comes, at least for me, what happened is past high school, literally, you don't ever think about high school again, and you don't ever think about anybody in high school. You don't think about that kind of shit. It's just like your life goes on after high school. You shouldn't give a fuck about the bullies that are trying to pester you, and if it becomes such a bad thing, where you're being constantly bullied, then, you know, a lot of the times what can be the solution is just not caring about what they're doing. And if you've already reacted and they already know that they can get under your skin, then that's like a different thing. But, you know, as for people that might just be getting into high school or whatever, that's usually the best way to counteract it. And it's usually just the best policy in general is to just not give a fuck. Which is easier said than done, I know. But yeah, that's my personal stance against bullying, and hopefully that answered your question or helped you out with any sort of insight into the subject. And if not, you can always ask me again or something specific in the comments below, and I'll try to get to it. With that said, though, guys, I hope that you enjoyed this episode of Real Ass Talk. If you did, make sure to leave in the comments down below that you did enjoy it and you want me to keep going with these, because, you know, I do have a lot of opinions about a lot of different stuff, and, you know, I've been around the block, so hopefully my advice helps out a little bit. With that, guys, though, I love you so much. Thank you for watching, and fair winds.